welcome to my review of Carry On Cruising from 1962, directed by Gerald, and of course, their 6th Carry On film in the series. So yes, we are back once again to discuss Carry On, this time around one of the earlier ones in the series, and really look forward to discussing this one today. So yes, there will be a spoiler warning once again for this discussion. We'll get into the plot, different things that happen in the film. So we want to ruin the film for you before you've already seen it. So yes, I would just recommend seeing it first and then come back to this video. We can go from there. We can discuss this film in the comments and all things carry on. So yes, all that said, let's discuss my thoughts on this film. Once again, one of the earlier ones I'm reviewing here today. Before Talbot Rothwell, was writing and all this, and a lot of the kind of the carry on feel, and the flavour of the series hadn't quite come about, truly at this point. Although this is, I think, very different to the previous 5. Regardless, is I think a little bit different to the previous 4. So it's kind of a gradual, kind of changing of the series. And I think Carry On Spying was when they really delivered, one of the best in the series, and it was the kind of the real true Carry On feel with the comedy consistently throughout the film, with the way different actors were used, members of the cast, and just I think the way they were doing genres, in that film, spoofing and kind of the writing there. I think that was the first one where it's really the true Carry On look as well. So I think some of these earlier ones, they are really nice to see, and they don't quite at the same time have that feel. But this one I do think is a step up from the previous 5 in many regards, and I think this is a very nice one to see with a very small cast, you could say, for regulars, with Sid James, of course, as the captain, Captain Crofer, and Kenneth Williams and Kenneth Connor as well. So that's really the 3 main regulars, of the main cast. And we do have some supporting characters as well. Dilys Laye, who's considered a regular of sorts, and Liz Fraser as well. So he was in a few of the Carry On films. She plays Glad in the film. And I think it's really nice to see, how this is all of a smaller kind of cast, and we do have this cruise ship as well. So it's kind of more contained, on the ship, and obviously the SS Wanderer, Happy Wanderer, and it kind of sets off from England, and we have this kind of briefing before as well, from Sid James, and basically a lot of the crew have just been replaced. So he's putting them in shape, and kind of saying wants to go well and stuff, and we have new members of the crew, and it's kind of this you could say this panic to kind of get it right and to deliver, of course, and kind of make sure the team are not messing things up. Obviously, we have Kenneth Williams, as one of the main ones, but is one of the new crew members, and obviously Kenneth Connor as well. He's the kind of medic, the Dr. Bin of the ship, and again, a lot of these characters have just replaced previous members of the crew. So Sid James has got all this to kind of deal with, him being the captain, and it all unfolds from there. We have obviously Dilys Laye and Liz Fraser, kind of love interests of the film, and all kind of gets tangled up with Kenneth Connor and Kenneth Williams as well, and different characters that show up in the film. I think it's a really just a charming comedy film, kind of romance film, and I think it's not a film that kind of goes to such heights that a lot of the carry-ons after this did, but I think it's very pleasant, very nice, very soothing once again, and it's just I think consistently the writing is good. It's obviously a different flavour to Talbot Rothwell, but it is very nice to see, and just pleasant, comforting to watch, and I think it starts off perhaps a bit too breezy in the first 15 minutes. There are things that are set up quite well, but it's just a bit very very not slow, but just very very easygoing, very breezy, and I think after that first 15 minutes or so, it starts to really come into its own. I got more invested again, and I think just a lot of the actors in this are really kind of elevating the material as well. Kenneth Connor is a real highlight in this film, absolutely hilarious at times, and I think the kind of the way in which the relationships play out between Kenneth Williams and Kenneth Connor, that was really good. As well, we have Lance Percival in this film, and I think as the main chef of the ship, and he does get seasick as well. So it's kind of this ironic kind of running gag throughout the film, and just seeing him kind of take charge, very bumbling, silly character. Really enjoyed that character, and I think it's just a very warm film in the way the kind of team is showed. Lance Percival as well. They're all kind of interacting throughout gradually, and we have different things developing, and just enjoying the actual, kind of the cruise ship experience itself and seeing how the characters are kind of enjoying themselves. It is very nice, and I think different moments of slapstick as well as we would get. Very funny. I think, and consistently this film is just very funny at times. And there are some standout sequences in this film that are uplifting and also just very funny. The ping pong match. Esma Cannon playing Bridget Madderley. This kind of elderly woman who kind of it's quite bizarre at first, and then the ping pong match comes about, and it's really funny between her and Kenneth Williams, and that was one of the standout kind of moments of comedy. And I think just one of my favourite moments as well is the kind of party that they hold for the captain at the end. Of course, in the final act, Sid James, and I think just I really like the way it ends. And how he. Obviously, first of all, with the cake and all this, the Lance Percival's character, of the main chef, putting odd ingredients in, and it's kind of a flavour from every kind of port in that sense, and it's really funny. And I think just the way it ends, though, the kind of the speech, you could say, with Sid James, the captain, saying, that he realised that he wants to kind of stay with his own crew, and the other ship that he was going to be offered, the role on that, he kind of says it's not got the personal, kind of touch of a cruise ship, and he does, in the end, kind of say, he wants to stay with this crew, and all the kind of stuff. So, and he says, the title of the film, Carry On Cruising. So that was quite funny in the way that was said. But yeah, I really like the way it ends in that sense, and it kind of shortly after that, that is it. That's the end of the film, and it was very uplifting. That's one of the things about this. It's not one of the funniest Carry On films overall, in this series, although it is very funny. But it's more of a kind of a nice film to watch, a pleasant one. Like a lot of the earlier ones, they didn't quite have the kind of the same Carry On feel, but they are Carry On films, and I do enjoy them for what they are. And I think this one is definitely a solid film, and one that I do find very charming, very uplifting, warm to watch. Really enjoy the interactions for the most part between Liz Fraser, Dilys, Laye, and the main characters as well. It was quite nice to see, quite a pleasant kind of romance, or romances, in the film, and I do really enjoy this. And some of the recurring characters, in the background, the kind of sharp, it's quite funny as well. So a consistent film that is well written, and just the cast members overall, elevating this film as well. So overall, it's definitely a film that I do enjoy quite a bit. I think it's nice music. It's really nice setting, of course, being on the cruise ship, and I just think it's a very nice feel, very nice flow to the film as well. So overall, my final rating for this film is a 66%. So a decent score from me. It's not a film that is one of my favourites in the series, but it is one that I do enjoy quite a bit. And I've put it above a lot, quite a few of the carry-ons. I think it's a very solid film. It's got a lot going for it. I think it's just not one that kind of really elevates itself and goes the extra mile in that sense in terms of the comedy and all this. And I think it's very different. Seeing these ones. Carry On Cabby, of course, was the first Talbot Rothwell screenplay. So that was when things you can definitely see there was more of the true Carry On feel. But I think for what these ones are, I do appreciate these ones as well. The series. There's something to take from all this, the kind of eras of the Carry-Ons. I'm just not the main, kind of era, or kind of consistently, a bunch of films that I really don't like, as Carry On England or onwards. I think that was really when they messed up there. That was just a no-go for me. But that was way down the line, and that was the last few Carry On films. Until then, most of the Carry On films I have enjoyed in some way, and I think this one is no exception. It's definitely, a very pleasant film to watch. I love the setting. I really like some of the side characters, and mainly as well, I like, I really like the main three: Sid James, Kenneth Williams, and Kenneth Connor, and all the kind of stuff that happens with them. It's something I can take seriously as well. Get quite invested in the kind of the narrative really of the captain, Captain Crofer. Because Sid James plays him, at times quite serious, but in a very good way. And I think it is very investing, and as well, it's something you can just enjoy as a nice comedy. At times quite silly, bizarre, and it's very grounded as well. It's not too over the top. This one, so yes, that's my thoughts on Carry On Cruising. A very nice film to watch, and once again, this was probably a bit better as well than I remembered. But it's just a very pleasant, nice, tranquil film to see, and it's got some real standout sequences, in the comedy, and I do as well get quite invested, at a point, after the first 15 minutes or so, where it's a bit too breezy. It really comes into its own, and get invested in it, along for the ride really once again, and very nice to see this kind of cruise ship and all the characters, on this. It's just very charming film. So yes, that's my thoughts on Carry On Cruising, the sixth Carry On film in the series. And yes, what do you think of this? It'd be great to hear in the comments, your thoughts on this film, your personal experience, and how does it compare to the rest of the Carry On films for you? And it'd be really great to hear this as always and discuss all the Carry On films. In terms of Carry On content on the channel, more to come, of course. I'm not really too sure what the next one will be to rewatch and review, discuss on the channel. But it'll be within the next week or so again, and that'll be good to do. And I look forward to that, regardless of what film it is in the series. I love talking about Carry On, and always love hearing your thoughts as well in the comments. So yes, as always, take care and thanks for watching.